Welcome to the She Built That with Julie Nichols podcast, where I interview female entrepreneurs about their journeys to business success. Today, my guest is Anna Cillan, a personal branding photographer in the Chicago area who specializes in headshots. Anna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Julie. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so excited to have Anna. Anna and I have known each other for about a year and a half now, I think.
Yep.
And we both live in the Chicago area. Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And Anna is always such a joy to talk with and work with. And I actually had the pleasure of seeing how she works at a local event that we just did, where she was doing little mini headshot sessions. And she directed me to okay, you're going to stand here. You're going to put your face like this. You're going to make sure, lift your chin, suck in the gut. No, she didn't say suck in the gut. But I was thinking it.
But we make sure we get the right pose, for the right shot. So you look fabulous.
Oh, thank you. And I'm not going to argue with you on that one. So Anna, I am so excited to kind of delve into everything that you do. If you could get us started by explaining all about your business, tell us what you do and what the value that you bring to your customers.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I am Anna Cillan, and I am a personal branding photographer specializing in headshots. And I basically bring out the most authentic version of you. A lot of people go through, we were back in the COVID, the pandemic time, and what were we doing? We're doing meetings online on Zoom. So basically, not just because of that, this is just extra emphasis on highlighting the things that I do, is that we usually go to LinkedIn and we see a headshot of somebody, right? So if we're not meeting with each other in person, then it's nice to have that touch point of who you are. So what I do is I provide those headshots. I provide a studio session basically on personal branding, highlighting your headshot first, and then going into creating a whole portfolio of branding images that you can use for your business, for any marketing materials like your website, your marketing materials, articles that you write online, etc. So things like that.
So talk to me more about what personal branding photography looks like, because I know what it is because I'm a marketing person, but I think that a lot of people don't really think about, I can have all these photos taken that show my brand. Could you kind of go into that a little more?
Yeah, sure. So personal branding, it's not every day that we're in front of a camera, right? And we don't think about that. As solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, to even C-suite levels of companies and their organizations, what does that look into the view into your organization, your company? Well, it's all around images. So creating that visual journey for people helps make that connection of who you are and what are the things that you provide, maybe the services that you provide to your people. So as far as personal branding is concerned, for say example, a solopreneur and entrepreneur, you're coming in to give that personal connection by giving them the look of who you are, right? Your face is your brand. That's your first and foremost. So you are the face of your company. But then what does that mean? Lately these days, the way that we market our business is around that imagery, right? And what does that look like for you? Well, when you think about working with people, you think about not just their business and their service. You think about, is this somebody that I want to do business with, right? So that's where in one of the sessions, or in one of my many personal branding sessions, I'll have you come in. We'll start with your headshots, and before coming into the session, I always ask you up front, what are you like? What colors do you like that you feel encompass your world, right? So what is it that you want to infuse into, say, for example, your website? You think about the colors, right? So Maybe the colors have a certain meaning to you. So everything is from a personal aspect of who you are. Do you like to drink coffee? How do you approach your clientele? Are you talking to them via Zoom? Or are you in person with them? Where are you meeting them? So these are the things that I like to ask my clients so that we can get a clearer picture of who you are. And then that gives me some morsels of information. It helps me kind of like make a visual concept of what your shoot looks like in studio. So so that's kind of like an example of, like, for example, I like to drink coffee. You know, when I'm on my calls with people, maybe I'm on a Zoom call, I'm drinking, I have like maybe my clipboard, or maybe I'm taking notes or something like that. I always tell people, bring some of these implements in so that we can use that and utilize that in a shot, so that you can use that for articles, or that maybe a blog post on talking to your audience. And it shows them that special connection, that personal connection to who you are as an individual, providing your craft to them. So that's kind of like maybe it might be a little bit of a long-winded explanation, but that, long story short, getting to know who you are so that, they can make that special connection with you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a theater person, so it's always about the props. Like, you got to have those great pieces that when I did my branding photography, it was like, okay, I need to have this one particular mug. I want to have shots of me drinking from it, things like that, like little things that are going to help that person who doesn't maybe know you very well to like instantly connect by seeing a picture of you doing something that's important to you. Like if you're a reader, you have a book, you're sitting on the couch and you're reading a book, kind of a thing.
Exactly.
So thanks for going into a little more detail on that.
Yeah.
Anna, let's get into it. I want to know, before you became a branding photographer, what were you doing professionally? And then how did what you were doing professionally before that influence your path?
Ooh, that is a big question. A lot of people are so surprised to find out that I was not always a photographer. I was actually in the IT space and doing project and program management for probably the last 15 years, but even before that, I was in the IT space doing some program development and QA testing. So a lot of that project and program management has really helped launch my career. I made the decision in 2019 to say, okay, this corporate space is not really my passion. I really had to do like some soul searching, because it wasn't really, I couldn't, every single time somebody would ask me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I really couldn't see myself there in 5 years. So I don't know why I was trying to fill that void. It wasn't there. And what was there was my increasingly love for photography that I had forgotten about way back in my earlier years of, growing up.
So you had done photography as a child?
Yes, I did. So like it was my father's hobby and passion for photography that sparked it. I tell everybody I was born with a camera in my hand, which is not true, obviously. But it was I was always my father's little sidekick. Whenever he wanted to go out and take photos, I'm like, Dad, can I go with you? This is so fun. And I was holding his, obviously when I was a little bit older and stronger, because the cameras then are so heavy, right? They're not built the way that they're built today, which is still heavy, but they're not as heavy as they used to be. But I would carry his camera around, and my dad he did portrait photography for all of us. It was just basically family based, wanting to take really great pictures of the family. Okay, so we're not talking about of other people. It was just his love and his love for photography. So we would go to like my sister's track meets and take photos. And when I was old enough and he had trust in me to be able to hold the camera, he actually let me try it. And when I tried it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Now, then it's on film. I can't see exactly what's happening. But it was kind of like the whole thing about Dad let me take a picture with his very expensive camera, and I heard it was that click of the camera that just drew me in, that I had the ability to capture a moment in time. And that like meant so much to me, and it just kind of opened my eyes to the world of photography. So that's how it started. And then naturally speaking, as I went throughout my years, I went to college, I got my degree in information management and management from Purdue University. And I just continued along that path of, this is what you do, right? You go to school, you get your degree, you do what you studied. And I did that. And I had fun doing it. I'd have no regrets. In fact, I loved that I did that because it really propelled, like you asked me before, it propelled me to give me those experiences and that foundation of management and business and communication, to bring that to my space, my creative space today. So that's kind of maybe a weird way of going about like my story, but I had that love for photography before and regained it back again when I made that, when I was at a crossroads in 2019. And I had to figure out, is this something that I want to take on full time? This could be hard. And it's in my culture. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate that being in a creative space is not seen as success, right? How do you make any money off of taking photos? It's possible, maybe. And that's where I had to make that decision for myself. If I'm going to do this, then I have to prove it to my mom. Because moms worry, right? They want you worry about your children. You want to make sure that they have a good life for themselves, God willing, even after they're gone. They want to make sure that you're okay. And I appreciate that. She was hard on me. She was really hard on me. She, after even 2 years down the line, kept sending me listings for full-time job listings. I'm like, Mom, please let me do this. I'm showing you. I'm sharing with her my financials, and it's growing month to month to month. I know it was hard during the pandemic, and that was so hard for my mother to see that, right? Because I made peanuts. I'll be honest. There was not a whole lot coming in. Thankfully, we had some financial reliefs here or there. I wasn't allowed the PPP loan because I just barely started my business. Right. So that was not even an option for me. So there was a lot of soul searching during that time. I'm like, why am I doing this? Again, I had that thought in my head. My mom told me it's over and over. Anna, just find a full-time job. You'll be okay. I was like, just let me do it. And I continued, and I pressed on. And I think I even wrote this in the book that we'll be talking about.
Oh, we'll talk about the book. Yeah.
Yeah. So this whole thing is all in the chapter as well. But basically, it took about 2 years for her to finally say, "You're doing it, and I'm so proud of you."
So what was that moment? Like, what actually happened for her to have that like light switch go on? Like, oh wow, Anna's actually going to be okay.
It was because every single month I would tell her, I will have a meeting with you to let you know what my financials are.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
How did those go?
It's not for the weary, okay?
I don't envy you at all. So,
because I was nice to know that I had a sounding board. However, with the thought of, okay, she's still not making it. or even on top of that, just being able to, I had to share with her where I was spending my money,
Yeah.
because with my mom, I love her so much, love her. And she's so good. And I thank God every day that she was there for me, even to push me so hard, right? To actually, in the ways that, yes, she didn't want me to at the time, because she wanted me to go back into the corporate space. But then, she really pushed me internally to like prove her wrong and say, I
Mm.
can do this. But it was just hard because if I had to share with her my financials, that means I had to share with her where I was spending my money. And I felt like a little child again.
And it
you
kept
know?
you really accountable for every
Yeah.
dollar, I'm sure,
Yes. Yes.
knowing she
Yes.
was going to see that every
Yeah.
month.
And she'll be like, okay, and why are we spending money on extra going out to eat?
Always my weakness, the restaurants.
I love food.
I
It's a
mean, they're
problem.
so good. Oh God, Anna. Oh my God. Before, like when I had like a corporate job as well, and we were doing fine, and we double income, no kids, and it was like,
Yeah.
let's order in every
Yeah.
other night, whatever. Yeah, no,
Yes.
those days are gone.
Yeah.
Um, but then I got a lot better at cooking, so that I
Yeah.
could make it like my
Hmm.
own home a restaurant for myself.
Exactly. What's on the menu today?
I know, right? What am I going to whip up for myself?
Yeah.
Um, I want
But
to
yeah.
know, what does your mom say now about your journey?
Oh, she loves it. She loves it for me. And she knows that I think it was October of 2020. I could be getting the year wrong now. 21 or 22. It was 21 because it was 2 years after. And it was during one of our monthly calls. Because also on the back end, I gave her access to like my bookkeeping in my
Oh,
CRM solution. So that way, instead of her like pinging me and saying, how are we doing? How are we doing? I gave her the keys to the kingdom so she can go in and see for herself and know that Anna's making some money. It's okay. She's going to be okay. So when we got on one of those calls, I'm like, I don't remember exactly verbatim the conversation, but I was like, Mom, do you think I'm going to be okay now? And she's like, I think you're going to be okay. I think you're going to be just fine. You are doing a great job. And then she goes, did I ever get you anything for you starting your business? I'm like, well, Mom, you gave me a lot of full-time job listings. And she's like, Anna, stop joking. Because I'm such a jokester. Maybe I joke a little too much, but that's part of my personality.
right.
So it was it was 2 weeks later that I received something, little package in the mail, and it was a
Mhm.
beautiful citrine pendant necklace saying congratulations on your business, and hopefully and here's 2 more successes. Because if you look up citrine, that stone is I think is the indicates success and wealth.
Ooh, note to
Mm.
self, get some citrine.
Yeah, surround yourself with some citrine. There, if
I
you
need
take anything
citrine.
home, take that home with you.
Get some citrine, people.
Yes.
It's going to get you that,
Yeah.
get you what you need.
Yes, exactly. So yeah.
So I want to know so I know that like we've talked in the past about how you built your business, and how now you've been branching out to do more corporate photography and get into those
Hmm.
larger corporations. Like, how did you know when it was time to scale? Like, how did you know, like, I need to break out? And like, what did that process look like?
I think it really comes down to your support groups, your networking groups. I have not only the one that we're both a part of, the inner circle, which was great, but I also have my photography networking groups too, that we kind of push each other. We see, you kind of want to do what your colleagues, when your colleagues are successful, you want to do what they do, right? So it's like, yes, I've I've got my craft down in studio. I love working on individual sessions. It's perfect. It really is fulfilling to me too. I mean, all of it is, essentially, but it's nothing like that one-on-one situation with somebody, and just having them understand, like, yes, you can look beautiful in front of a camera. You know, a lot of people say, I'm not photogenic, but yes, you are. I'll take that challenge and I'll show you. So,
challenge accepted.
challenge accepted. Yes. But yeah, we all, and I have a text thread with a certain set of group of friends too that are in the photography area that do this craft, and we keep pushing each other and say, okay, I'm going to get this job. What would you charge for that? Or what do you think we should do for this, etc. So,
on your calendar,
oh,
dentist starts in 10 minutes.
Oh no,
Uh-oh.
I have a
dentist in 10 minutes.
Dentist in 10 minutes. Oh my gosh.
Oops.
Oh no.
On
Shoot.
your calendar, dentist
Alexa,
starts
stop.
in 10 minutes.
It's embarrassing.
Well, Anna, I don't know what's going on with you and your teeth, but you might want to reschedule that because I don't think you're going to make it in time.
Yeah, I might have to take a rain check, but I don't know. We'll see. So, yeah. So anyways, what was I saying? Stupid Alexa, why are you doing that to me? She does this to me all the time. I'm like, no.
We call her in my house, she who shall not be named, so
I
that
know.
she does not activate.
I know. Okay. Take that home with you too. Deactivate her when you're on a podcast. Okay? That's embarrassing. Oh my God.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
no, but that's basically it. My headshot crew. It's kind of like, again, surround yourself with successful people, like-minded individuals. You'll do what they do, right? And I started, meeting with other clients or colleagues in our networking circles, and I have cultivated some really strong relationships with some big organizations, and it just kind of, word gets around. I did a business in review analysis. A lot of my business, I think, what was like maybe 38% of it came from referrals. It's big. And the power of networking is huge. So I always want to hit home with everybody. How do you do it? Talk to people, make those connections, build those relationships, and your sales will soar, right? So just go out and do it. And don't be afraid to talk to somebody, because somebody out there wants to help you.
I'd love to hear from you a little more about that. Like, are there particular things that you do to cultivate your partnerships with collaborators? Like, are there any tips you could give people on how you keep those going?
Usually what I do is, if I haven't spoken to them in a while, I'll put it on my calendar to try and just do a touch base, send them a text, or send them an email. Hey, how are things going? It's that we call nurture is the word. I was going to say nourish. That's weird. Okay.
Someone's hungry.
You got to nurture the relationship and just be genuine about it. I'm genuinely curious. How are things going? What are we thinking? Do we have more new hires for this time of year? So how's overall, how are you and the family doing? Right. So, and I'm generally interested in them also, because why not? They're generally interested in you. So it's not just a give and get thing. You got to give each other the time. So I think that's important. It's just nourishing. Again, I said it again, nurturing that relationship.
When you said nourishing, I actually heard nurturing, so it didn't even occur to me that you said it again. So.
Yeah, everybody that's going to be watching this, like, Anna, oh my God, your grammar is horrible. I don't care, whatever. I always tell everybody that maybe 10% is actual English grammar, and then the rest, the 90% is gibberish. So whatever. Take it for what you will.
You just got to own it. You got to own it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you some questions about, I want you to tell us about a unique perspective you think you bring to your industry as a female founder, like, working with other male photographers and then being a female photographer. Like, what unique perspective do you bring to the table?
think about this a lot too, especially like from my past experience of being in the corporate space, because it was very much, you know, that was a little bit more top of mind. Um, but I was worried about that being top of mind here for the creative space. But being a creative, it knows no boundaries, right? And for me to think about how do I push myself forward and what makes me more unique than the others, I do have my unique qualities. It's me, right? It's how I work. It's my personality, which is why there's other photographers out there. Everybody's great in their own way. People go and gravitate towards people that they want to be around, right? Mm-hmm. So that is a number one thing that I think about to help me kind of propel myself across the board in the photography space, is that don't compare yourself to anybody else. You are the reason why people come to you. And that has always helped me kind of think through getting to that next level. Think like a leader, right? Being a leader means, you know, it's unlimitless, the things that you can do. So that to me, I have really great colleagues that are males, right? And we all respect each other equally. They're very good, right? But again, each one of us has our own qualities, and each one of us has our own markets on what we attract to our business. So that to me, I think is like, if I think like a leader, then that will create my unique quality of attracting not just my type of clients, but also a great community, a collaborative community of other photographers, other colleagues in my networking circles, etc. So that's how I kind of propel myself across the board.
So you were just talking a lot about leadership, and I think that this segues really nicely into the book that you are a part of, Lead from Within. Collaboration with other people in the Inner Circle Network. Can you tell us a little bit about your chapter and the process of writing that book?
Oh, well, I can tell you the process of writing it. I didn't want to do it. You can ask Kim and she'll be like, yeah, Anna was a tough one.
But
my eyes were opened. Okay. I was like thinking, why don't I want to write and be a part of this book? And I couldn't come up with a good reason. I really couldn't. I mean, there could be nothing wrong about being a part of a Lead from Within book that talks about entrepreneurship, like topics. And what can I provide to that? Well, I sort of spoke about it here. It's like how I moved from the corporate world and moved into my creative journey and never looking back. I mean, it's not that it's bad. It just wasn't for me. Corporate space just was not my passion, but I followed my passion. And that is what I wrote about in my chapter, which I was, to my surprise, the one that was kicking and screaming to write this book. They chose my chapter as the first chapter. And I think it's particularly because it can relate to, a lot of people can relate to this topic, right? If you're thinking about pursuing your passion and you feel like it's not even possible, not even remotely possible, I want you to think about that again, because it is possible. You just got to put the work into it, right? And oh man, that's cliche. I shouldn't have said that. You know that you got to put work into things to make things happen. Of course, obviously, by default, that should be it. However, I did put in there things about building the foundation, right? I talked a little bit about my story and my background, my history of photography, with my father being my inspiration for it. And then I go into the whole building my foundation, elevating myself in my craft. And then it just then you'll see how I really moved into that full time. There were a lot of things there were a lot of challenges along the way. So don't think it was an easy thing. And that's why I felt like it was important to like write about this, because a lot of people are thinking like, oh, well, it just kind of fell into her lap and she just did that. No, I'm like, I made peanuts for the first year. I did a whole like year over year, what do you call it? Graphical presentation, representation of like my income over a year. And be surprised, you'll be pleasantly surprised. It started off here and now it's here. Okay. Yes. So it is possible. I would love you to take a peek into a little bit into my world. My chapter is the first chapter. I don't want to give it all away, but there were some good bits that I spoke about here. So check it out.
I'll make sure to include a link to buy the book. It's available in Kindle and in print. So there's something for everybody there. But I read it and it was phenomenal. I loved your chapter. It was
Thank you.
So great. Also because it was like I don't know, you just really are a great storyteller. So I really appreciated, how you shared those thoughts and ideas through the story of your life and connecting with your father over photography. I just thought that was so cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to ask you, looking back, what advice would you give yourself on day one of starting your business?
Day one. Yes. Okay. If you're coming from the corporate space, get used to not getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. Okay. And that's okay. You know why? Because it's going to happen. Right? You continue to put yourself out there, you make those connections, people want to help you and they will refer people to you. You just, again, nurture those relationships. It will happen. And get yourself used to a paycheck here, a paycheck there, maybe the next day, maybe 2 weeks from then, but it's not going to happen. But know and plan for that, because it is going to be a shocker, but it's going to be amazing to look back to say, wow, why did I think that I was not going to be okay? I'm going to be okay. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And I want to know, like, what excites you about your company's next chapter? What's in store? What's next for Anna Cillan Photography?
Wow, I think this couldn't have come at a better time, because I just did my whole business analysis. I am improving, or not improving. I'm updating my services. I'm actually focusing on adding in high school senior photography in there, and creating some really amazing collections of wall prints and albums and stuff like that. But it's not just for the seniors, but I'm also going to create this on the flip side for the personal branding perspective as well. So every single one of my sessions, every single image, will be, you not only receive the digitals, digitals are important, right? Because we need that for our digital marketing materials, etc. But every single one is going to receive a desk print as well, so that you have something tangible to go home with as well. So it's new to my area, but it's just going to be an extra addition. Whether if you want the desk print, you can have it. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it. But it's also nice to have. Let's print out our stuff and let's keep our memories alive forever.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Anna, thank you so much for joining us today and being so real and sharing, your inner struggles. I know that like a lot of these things can be really hard to talk about, but I just love your candor. And so thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
And
I love it.
Hopefully it'll help somebody else that's listening to this.
Yes, I hope
Anna, share with us where people can find you.
Oh, yes. They can find me. My website is www.annacillan.com. You can find me through LinkedIn as well, from my first name, last name, as well as Facebook and Instagram. You'll see portfolio images of my work if you want to see some visual imagery, just to kind of get the wheels turning. But yeah, you can contact me there, or my email, it's anna@annacillan.com.
Awesome. Well, Anna, thank you so much for being with us. And everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Julie Nichols. This is the She Built That podcast with Julie Nichols. And if you want to get in touch with me because you need help with small business marketing, which is my jam, you can reach me at julienicholsmarketing.com. That's NICHOLS marketing.com. And I'll be happy to reach out and talk to you. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.